You are listening to the Profoundly Posh podcast, Word on Our Street, with Jenny Berry and Carl Royal. Right, so it's the start of episode 3.
We're still here, still going strong, aren't we?
We're on now, you know.
I know. You tell me that every week. Jeez. We've already got a habit developed, EP3.
It does actually say that at the beginning of each one now.
I know.
It's and it's been an eventful week, hasn't it?
It's been really good. We've had media coverage.
We have, and we've had loads of feedback.
Yeah, we have.
And we've been on a road trip.
I loved the road trip.
Did you?
I did.
Well, we're going to talk about that quite a lot. It's quite relevant today, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
And it's, I think, I mean, we have, it's not like we hide our light under a bushel. So we do tell people, and you've been blogging.
I've been blogging, I've been blagging, I've been on radio.
Yeah, but we've got the blog thing is great now, because what you started doing is letting people know what's going to be happening on the next show. So that's on Blogspot, isn't it? So it's Word on Our Street.
Yes.
.blogspot.com.
Yeah, I've been showering the links we both have to click on.
Yeah.
But we've got quite a few readers, I'd say.
Well, it's hundreds. This is what's getting weird. It's like hundreds of people and then people keep telling me they've either bought a book or watched one of the films we've talked about.
Hamilton's been watched. They had a spike a bit in the listeners and the viewers.
Do you think that was to do with us?
Yeah, definitely.
I bet Lin-Manuel is going, Word on Our Street.
He needs to sit down on our street and come here. I'd imagine interviewing him.
Can you imagine that? We'll get there in the end.
Of course.
And do you know what? And that's the other thing is we've got now a backlog of people who want to come on and talk to us.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't surprise me.
I love the modesty of it.
I just get my trumpet out every so often and give it a big blow because no one else is.
I'm not going to blow your trumpet for you. You do enough of that on your own.
Oh.
But so talking of Hamilton. Do you know what? One of the things we talked about a lot was up to now, and I listened back to the very first thing we did the other day. Do you know when we when we sat in your garden and it was throwing it down and we had an umbrella?
Yeah.
And you weren't supposed to be within 13 feet of each other.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
we did it safely though, didn't we?
We did it very, very safely. And one of the things we talked about, and I keep bringing up, is how you watch one thing and it makes you look at something else, or if someone recommends something, that's how you get to look at something. So it's always like backtracking. Now, I'm not going to hide. I love Hamilton and everything, but I've heard lots of people saying the history's not accurate. It's not this. It's not.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Since it's been on Disney and it's had a wider thing, because if you pay for a theatre ticket, you're going to be a fan. You're going to love it because you paid a lot of money to go and do it. If you paid $5.99 to watch it on the Disney Channel, you're going to be maybe a little bit more critical, because you'll maybe feel people might watch it who wouldn't have gone to the theatre to see it. And I found that interesting. So what I did...
Go on. If you could see Carl's now doing a thing with his hand, like a teacher.
Oh, am I?
Yeah.
I'm wagging my finger, aren't I?
You are. I'm going to go into tension in a minute.
Well, I noticed that the History Channel, I'd put on a thing called Washington. And it's a 3-part documentary.
Yes.
All about... And my American history, not that great. I don't know what yours is like.
My Salford history's good.
Salford history good. but not your American history.
Yes. You've watched Washington.
No, yes.
No, yes. Now, I'd just like to say to the listeners that Carl said it's a little bit of a hard watch, he said, because I've not seen it.
No. What I said was, it's long. I didn't say it's a hard watch. I said what it is. It's if you said to me, I've not watched this yet, about 2 days ago, and I thought, that's going to be a tough watch.
So Carl then said, is it not a bit highbrow for you, Jen? And I nearly did a flying kick.
I did say that.
Because his eyebrows look quite plucked today, I must say.
Well...
You did say that. No, I didn't have time to watch it, so I want to hear all about it then, mate.
Well, do you know what? It's quite unusual, because it's a dramatisation.
Yeah.
But it's not just a dramatisation. It's also cuts off from the drama to interviews with current day politicians.
Right.
So you've got people's opinions on the history mixed in with little bits of drama.
I'm definitely going to watch this now.
Yeah, and so I think it's an easy watch.
Right.
So like Bill Clinton's on there, Colin Powell's on there,
Yeah.
and it's really interesting how, because I know a few Americans, but I've never really sat down and talked politics with them. But it comes across that in a really cool way how much this guy is still revered as one of the greatest Americans that ever lived.
Really?
And the reason there's the crossover, and if you're a big Hamilton fan, this is why it's quite cool, is as things are happening, you go, I know what's coming next. I know what's coming. And then when they do go through the actual history, do you know what? I think the musical is quite close. It does skip things. Obviously, it's going to do things and it's going to truncate everything. Truncate, that was a good word.
Carl's turning into a sesquipedalian. That's what you're turning into, isn't it?
Oh, what?
Sesquipedalian.
I don't know what that is.
It's someone that uses long words for the sake of using long words.
All right, truncate is not that word. Look,
Were you getting there?
well, can we truncate that one, the alien one?
Should we get back to to what we're doing?
So what's quite cool is, and obviously within the whole story, Hamilton comes into it, and you feel like inside going, oh, I know this bit, it's Hamilton, but it's obviously he doesn't burst into song.
No rapping. Gutted.
No rapping,
Oh.
but you get the complete sort of backstory of how it happened and why he's quite an unpopular person, really. So it's told from a completely different point of view. And what's great is over the 3 episodes, it goes from Washington as a kid right through to how him dying. And it's amazing. I thought it was amazing and quite moving.
Okay, so it goes through the timeline of Washington, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's all that when they were getting the British out.
Yeah.
And goes
But
through
you
the
say they
battles
use interviews from current day, yeah?
Yes, absolutely.
Does that make it better?
Well, I think what it helps you to see is because, especially because it's politicians,
Yeah.
it helps you to see how the people of today see that the history of yesterday is still affecting them now.
If you were to sum it up to school kids to watch,
Yeah,
what would you say it was about in an easy way?
it's got some really good battles in it.
Yeah.
No, do you know what? It's the reason it's worth watching. And do you know the other thing I did think is, would it have been better if I would have watched this documentary before I went to see Hamilton?
Would you have wasted your life watching that, though?
Or is it better that I watched Hamilton and then watched the documentary?
And what was the answer to your question?
I think if I would have watched it, I don't think I would have watched it in the same way, because I would have just watched it as a history program, and I don't think I would have had I wouldn't have had the interest sparked by what the musical did.
I'm going to watch this.
You're going to watch it?
I'm definitely going to watch it. I've just run out of time.
So the other thing that we were going to do now, we said we were going to change our rating system, didn't we?
We did,
We're
yeah.
not going to have stars now, are we? What are we going to have?
We're going to have eyebrows.
Eyebrows.
What a brilliant suggestion.
Somebody did suggest that. I can't remember who it was.
You told me it was when you went to a barbecue and got very drunk.
Oh, it was. It was Kate.
Right.
Kate.
Cheers, Kate.
My friend Kate. She said you should have eyebrows, not stars.
I love it. Kate, I think you're an absolute legend.
So we're gonna adopt that.
Yes.
And I'm gonna give Washington
Go on.
4 eyebrows
4.
out of 5.
Definitely going to watch it now.
I'm not gonna give it 5
No.
because
It's not Hamilton. What do you think it is? It doesn't change your life, does it?
I also think the makers. It was obviously, this was made after Hamilton, and I think the makers have made this for the reasons that I've just said, where you've got that interest in that period of history now. And it was just, and it brought in so much about and even a little bit about all the slave ownership and how that worked,
Yeah.
and so it's quite very educational. And if you could get a kid to sit down and watch 6 hours worth of Washington, it's not 6 hours, it's 3 lots of 2-hour program, but there's adverts. I would highly recommend it.
Maybe teachers are listening now and to do snippets at GCSE, you don't know. Maybe. But I think from this conversation with you, obviously I've not watched it yet, so I can't give it an eyebrow shape.
Yeah.
They need to do more musicals or mix different genres, I think, to tell tales of history to make it more engaging, don't they?
I think so. I think so. It's do you know what? It was just one of those things. I don't think I maybe would have watched it if I'd not watched Hamilton.
Yeah.
But now I'm really, really glad that I did. And I must admit, I have, since we started doing this, I've started watching some different things I maybe wouldn't have watched, and got, just so I can say to you, oh, watch this thing the other day, it was really good. And let's talk about that, or or I've read a few things that maybe I wouldn't have read. So so for example, there was, when I was reading the other book that we mentioned in one of the other episodes, The Humankind.
Yeah, that was the first episode.
Yeah, he started talking about Machiavellian things.
Right.
And then he started talking about the book The Prince by Machiavelli.
Yeah.
And which I've never read.
No.
So downloaded that to the Kindle.
Have you? Check you out, you little downloader.
Not read it.
Right then.
But it's there.
Get reading it, give us an eyebrow review. I'm waiting for you to watch what I've asked you to watch, because we've got quite a few things to review, haven't we?
Me reading is 17th century books.
Well, do you not feel at home?
Because we're not eyebrow.
Do you not remember school from that era?
There's no need.
I'm sorry.
No, there is no need for that at all.
But what a great week we have had. I mean, we've been in Salford Online.
Yeah.
Salford Star Online.
Well, you did an interview and had an article on you, and you very kindly gave me a little footnote at the bottom, didn't you?
No, we'll talk about all my projects. Word on our street gets in everywhere. Yeah, we performed, did an online performance, and the guy, the reporter got in contact with me because it was about my book that I'm working on. Anyway, I said, look, that's not done yet. But this is all the projects I'm working on, including Word on Our Street, and everyone seems to be really impressed with it because we're sick of the snobs.
Yeah, and you found yourself on BBC Radio.
I did, yeah, on Simone Riley's show, who's another guest potentially coming in.
And you gave us a mention on that as well.
Yeah, I did. And also a letterbox in Boothstown that I've put up for
Yeah.
people. Because I'm trying to engage all ages into the arts, aren't we? So I popped a little letterbox up outside the Coal and Cotton for children to post art to one another. So it came up in that.
And then we went, the one thing people would have noticed, I think we've upgraded our image slightly, haven't we?
Hell yeah. Thanks to our guest, Mick. We had a few pictures done, didn't we, in the Northern Quarter?
I think they're really good.
How cool is the Northern Quarter?
I don't think I've ever said, like that photograph of me.
Well, I'm a nightmare.
I'm not somebody who loves photographs of themselves at all. They're a necessary evil in what you do in entertainment.
Yeah.
But actually, when we got those back, he sort of summed up that really quickly, and there's a couple where we're just having a laugh together.
Yeah.
And it's quite obvious that you go, do you know what, they fit. So we have changed our little favicon. I learned that word this week as well. That's the little picture with the writing on it.
I want to know what people think of them, actually, because we've got loads of likes, but I want some comments, not just on the pictures, but on what we're doing. You know.
Well, that was one of the things I wanted to say is what I've been told, because we're quite new at this. We need people.
I'm newer. You've done a podcast.
I know, but we need people to leave us reviews on whatever platform they're listening on.
Yeah.
And give us ratings as well.
And if they're crap, they'll get deleted, and that's fine.
Yeah, and we can't delete them. That's
I'm
the problem.
only joking.
And then the other one is they've got to like us or follow us.
Follow, subscribe.
Yeah, that's and I never quite got when I watched other things why people always did that thing of like, follow, subscribe.
Yeah.
I sort of get it a bit now.
I do, and I'm finding myself doing things what I used to kind of slag others off for on social media.
Yeah.
I am, but you've got to because it works.
Yeah, because we are our graph looks really good. Like the listenership is absolutely going through the roof for something that's 2 or 3 weeks old, and we need to keep that momentum going so that we can get the guests that we need. The more successful we are, the better guests we'll get.
But do you know what I've been dead excited about?
What?
We've had a poem from a guest.
We did have a poem from a guest.
From Jen Blackburn.
Yeah, and you can read it on our Facebook page.
I've shared it, and on Instagram.
Yeah.
And Twitter. Have we tweeted it?
I think
we're going to tweet it. So I was absolutely buzzing. So Jen, I think you know Jen.
I do know Jen. I know her very
I
well.
obviously haven't met her, but she seems lovely.
She's a fan.
We've got, well, Jen, it's you and my dad, so we've got 2 fans now. Cheers for that. No, that poem was great.
Well, he sort of brought in all the things that we've been talking about over the last few episodes.
And you had to have listened to get what the facts that she'd done. So
otherwise it made no sense.
Yeah.
But it's
so
the fact that she took the time to sit down and do that.
Well, we are still in lockdown.
She's either really motivated or really bored.
Yeah. What's in between motivated and bored? What can we call it? Boardivated.
Boardivated, yeah.
Boardivated.
Boardivated.
Are you boardivated? Let us know.
I don't know where that's come from.
I murd words a lot.
Anyway, you made me laugh the other day.
Go on. Well, I can feel a slagging off coming on.
You do a little bit. So for this wordsmith that you are, for this book reader that you, for this, so just in casual conversation, I said to you, "Oh, do you like a whodunit?" And you looked at me like I was speaking a different language.
I know. I do remember this.
And you actually said to me, "What's a whodunit?"
Yeah, all right. Everyone's laughing now at all.
So did you not watch like Columbo when you was a kid, or
no?
Did you never used to watch anything where someone gets murdered and then you've got to work out who the murderer is?
Yeah.
Agatha Christie.
You are older than me, kid. You know what I'm saying? A language evolves. But yeah.
It's still called whodunits. What else are you going to call it?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to look at because I'm going to talk about one here which is not very highbrow.
Right.
Yeah, it's more eyebrow.
Right.
And it's from one of my favourite authors.
It's still an older... it is used, but I want people to feed back on this.
Do you know, actually, they're calling this a crime novel rather than a whodunit.
Exactly.
Who
did it? Because it's done. It's in the past.
Well, there's 2 in this one.
Hey, God.
So, no, do you know what? So, we're in lockdown. I've been reading a little bit more than usual. And... do you know what? It's dead easy to get bogged down in quite heavy books. And I thought, do you know what? I bought this for my son.
Yes.
Ages and ages and ages ago. Because he used to read another series that this author did. It's Anthony Horowitz.
I'm not laughing at that. I'm just laughing at my Carl's hand movements when he speaks. We need to film this. Yeah.
We will eventually.
Yes.
We're actually set up on YouTube. Just not put anything up yet.
No, we need to do live. Go on.
Anyway, so Anthony Horowitz has started writing crime novel stroke whodunits.
Does it say it's stroke whodunits?
It's
no.
Thriller could be another word.
Yeah. So what's happening is, Carl, before you slate me,
it's a multi-layered
as
thriller.
a wordsmith, language evolves. It doesn't die; it evolves. I've done this. So you're just stuck in an old man's genre, and that's okay.
I am stuck in an old man's genre.
It's not used as much.
Okay, I get you. Right, anyway, this book is called Magpie Murders.
Yeah, so tell us all about it.
Now, the reason I like this, and I don't want any spoilers, it's just another book I'm going to recommend.
Yeah.
It's an easy read, and actually, he's got another one coming out with the same character in it as well.
Right.
It's a bit of a spoiler there. Can't die.
So give us a blurb.
What's good? What it is, it starts off, and you do think, why is the print really weird in this? And it starts off with a little whodunit story. So it starts off with a book, and
yes.
and there's a little introduction. It's as if someone's saying, "This book changed my life, and this is the book." So I don't want to give too much away, but at the end of the book, you literally get to the end of the book, and you think you're going to work out who the murderer was. Mm-hmm. And then it finishes.
Well, that's what they meant to do. That's good.
What finish?
Leave you thinking.
Well, no. Normally in a whodunit, right? I'll give you the idea of how this works, right? Normally in a whodunit,
but the genre's moved on.
The detective normally gets who's done it.
Are you struggling to let go here?
No.
Who done it? Who did it? Who cares?
So this is. So then it comes back into the real life that's not the book.
Yeah.
And the person who's reading the book said, "That's annoying, isn't it?" And it's all about the fact that it's not got the end of the book in the book. So she tries to get in touch with the author because it turns out she's the publisher.
Right.
So she tries to get in touch with the author. Guess what?
Go on.
He's dead.
Dun dun dun.
Absolutely, someone's killed him.
Right.
So it's all about now, and there's a crossover in the story between the real killing and the killing in the book and why you would have been killed.
Yeah, that's clever. That's clever, actually.
And so it is, and I don't really want to give too much more away than that. And you can get pretty much all of that off the back. And the answer is really clever. So the actual ending of the book, when it gets to it, you do go, oh yeah. And there's actually another little catch where I don't want to give it away at all, where you do go, oh, why did I say that?
Who would you give a target audience for? From your opinion, not on what. Who would you say?
Well, if you like reading, and obviously, no, that's not to say some people just don't. But what I would say, if you don't like reading, Audible is brilliant. I mean, I'm plug Audible as well because the
Audible's brilliant. Yeah, it is good.
So you can listen to books, so it's on there.
Yeah.
What a lot of people do now, if you've got a Kindle thing, is you can actually use Audible and you can read along because they're all unabridged. So you can. So I've been told by a few people now what they do. They actually listen and read along at the same time, and it gets them into reading a little bit more.
Right.
So, because do you know what? I don't think you can
That'd
presume.
annoy me.
Would it?
It would. Yeah, it would annoy me a lot.
I think it'd slow me down.
I like audio or I like reading.
Yeah. Yeah, I like audio in the car. And I don't like reading in the car because I always crash.
Well, yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah.
But you say who would? So I think anything from teenager upwards.
Right.
It's a proper novel. You know what I mean? I've got it in mind. It's a proper book.
I'd love it if a listener got one of their teenagers, because
To read it.
maybe we've got teenagers listening.
I'm hoping.
But if got them to read it and feed back to us, I'd love that.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, again, I'm going to give this another solid 4 eyebrows.
Wow.
A solid 4 eyebrows. It's because I've already pre-ordered the second one.
Yeah.
I think he's taken, because most of his, I know that some of his early stuff, he was all teenage fiction. And so he's taken that and he's just taken it a step further, taken a genre, as you took it, and tried to turn it on its head a little bit.
So, because I've been dabbling at TV writing for the past couple of years.
Yeah.
For me, for that book, the structure of it sounds very clever.
Yeah.
Because I think and write in different ways, depending on what genre.
That's why it works.
Yeah. So that's what's grabbing me, the structure of it.
Yeah.
So nice one for introducing that.
That's why it's a little bit different.
Yes.
I would say go and get it. It's a now. There's another reason which I will mention. If anyone gives us a little bit of a review on what they think of it, and we talk about it on another episode.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the reason why I picked this book, because it's something to do with this podcast.
Okay.
There's a clue. Something we talk about in this podcast is very, very prevalent in this book. And when I read it, it made me laugh because and I'll tell you off air. But I'll see if anybody. Yeah, tell you what, if anybody can get that, I bet you'll write them a poem, won't you?
I will. Yeah. Cheers for that.
No one will get it.
Bet you'll do him a trick, won't you?
Yeah, I'll do a trick. I'll send him a trick on YouTube or something.
So Magpie Murders.
Magpie Murders. With four eyebrows. Anthony Horowitz. It's out in paperback. It's been out quite a long time. I highly recommended.
And like Washington, this is Carl's recommendations because I have not intervened.
Yeah, but while you've been doing all your pressy stuff and going off doing your interviews, going off doing your stuff for
while
online,
I'm promoting our podcast.
Yeah, I'll do all the grunt work and I'll go and read books and watch TV series.
And I've got nappies to change as well, you know. You know what I mean?
Multitasking. Far too much information. Anyway, let's get back to our road trip.
It was ace.
So it wasn't a big road trip, it was just into Manchester. So
it was brilliant, and our guest, as you'll hear the interview, was just, I think the word we've said is authentic. What an amazing.
Well, I didn't know what to expect because you knew Mick before, didn't you?
Yes.
And you've done some work with him alongside him, from what I could gather.
Yeah. Poetry work.
And so I turned up and we met in Subway.
And I'm giving 5 eyebrows to Subway.
Well, we've got to, because they let us use their facilities, didn't they?
Exactly.
They just we went and tucked ourselves in the back corner, and it's like they even closed the door so everyone would be quiet.
It was like we had our own studio in Subway on Piccadilly.
It's like as if someone went, "Oh right, they're doing that thing. They've got headphones on." And I'm like, "Did we ask?"
No, we didn't.
I don't even think we asked.
We just, what it is, Carl. Our aura is so professional.
Yeah. I think what they thought, if we asked them to leave, I think they might have thought you might punch them.
Did they?
Because you're a bit fierce.
I am a little bit fierce at times. I'm a bit like a Ferrero Rocher.
So
hard on the outside, soft inside.
Oh. So is that your words or someone else said that?
Just thought of it then.
Okay.
I don't need to prep.
I've noticed you don't do any prep. I've noticed all the notes are mine. So, but do you know what?
You take over.
But do you know what? We sat down and I thought, I didn't know where this interview was going to go, and I don't, because I've seen some of Mick's work, urban photography, but you give me a little bit of background, and so as you'll see in the interview, we had to tread a little bit carefully at the beginning. We did, yeah, and I'm aware of. Well, what we taught, you'll have to listen to the interview, but there's a little bit of a sensitive issue in there. But how amazing and how well is he? But then we saw him in his best light. Yeah. Because when we'd finished the interview and he dragged us down some back alleys and
beat us up.
Well, I don't know if we can tell some of the stories that went on.
I'll tell him. I don't care.
Do you not care?
So he knows. He goes down the Northern Quarter a lot, and he did say, Carl, didn't he? Let's go at this time, which was 6 o'clock, because the vibe is different, and it was. So the buzz of people going in, because you're allowed in now with your masks and everything. The homeless, though. Yeah, there was a lot. There was, which is really sad. But they were lovely, the ones we met. This guy pulled up next to us and just, did a little wee, and then... This is the guy I was thinking about. Yeah, did a little wee. Okay. Carried on chatting to us whilst urinating, which, is all fine. Anything can go down on the street as long as we're safe. Had a little chat with Mickey, knew him. Said, take me picture. Yeah, but what made me laugh was the way... So he's doing that, and we're going... there's a bloke having a wee next to us while we're having our pictures taken. And then he went, "Oi, Mick!" and that was quite, and he, we've had some great times, us. Yeah. And it was interesting how he just seen that interaction, and then the first thing he did was stick a lens in the lad's face. Which he wanted, took probably an amazing picture. He showed me that one. The pictures he takes are just, I think I put it in the blog, like you'd think of the most mundane moments, but he brings them alive and manages to tell lots of different stories. Should we do the interview thing? Yeah, let's put him on. All right, this is our interview with Mick Steff.
It's interview time on Word and Our Street.
So we're on again. So here we are. We're actually on location this time. Where are we? We are in the most prestigious subway going. That was easy for you to say. It's a good job not had a drink. Imagine if we would have said it after that.
My favourite subway, this.
This is your favourite subway?
My favourite subway, yeah.
Is it so? So we have got with us today Mick. Is it Mick or Michael?
Mick.
Because on Facebook it's Michael, and I thought I need to get you addressing
it right. Yeah, I don't know, it's just Mick.
Right.
I think because you have to, there's family and everything, and but I'm Mick, but to my family and my wife, it's Michael.
What does Mick do?
Mick, I was just getting there. Put Carl chipping in. So I met you a few years ago, didn't I, at the Phoenix Mill, which is an addiction centre in Manchester. I was doing my poetry workshops, and you were working, like you still do, with Bad Camera, which is a media company. Do they just film things within addiction?
No, I don't film anything. But we do a lot around addiction. We do a lot for the NHS, public health, things like that. But we film anything.
But apart from that, you're a photographer, aren't you?
Yeah.
And absolutely.
He's not just a photographer. I've seen his work.
You are outstanding, and you're going to be taking some pictures of us today, aren't you?
I am, yeah.
Woohoo! So, go on.
You look more excited about that than I do.
Well, first of all, I've been locked down for months, so it's like the first day I've done my hair and put makeup on. I'm a girl. Come on.
I've washed my hair.
But no, the thing about your
you've washed your hair and put a hat on like me. Yeah. You've done the same as me.
It's because you're both blokes. But your photographs are, I can sit here and say how outstanding they are. People have to go on and look, and we'll share it. But you've taken pictures of quite famous people, I should say, or celebrities really, haven't you? And your pictures tell a story. So tell us a little bit how you got into photography and why and where you do it.
Well, I think I've always carried a camera around with me. I've got photographs of when I was a kid with my mates on the estate, and in army, when I was in army, photographs when I was travelling. Always had a camera, but then become a drug addict. Become a drug addict when I was travelling, and and so, you know, didn't look at anything for a long time. And after 18 years of being an addict, I put the drugs down, picked a camera up instead, and I was working in Oldham. And I was travelling from Macclesfield to Oldham, and I was seeing the same people, and I just started photographing the people what I saw all the time, you know, the people who were begging on the street or who were, you know, selling the big issue. I don't know, just same shopkeepers who I spoke to every day. You know, I see a guy, no matter what strange time I'm working, there's this insurance guy whose place to go past. So always seems to be sat at his desk, you know, and we say hi, you know. So I just photograph what I see going on around me and what interests me. But what interests me, I think, is interactions with people, doing normal stuff, you know, like talking or arguing or...
Well, what interests me, straight away that comes to me, your photographs, to me, capture that.
They're quite striking, aren't they? The one thing I noticed straight away is a lot of... You get the character out of people. I mean, I could take a million photos of a face, and I've seen some of yours, and it's like the character's oozing out of the photograph, and it's quite difficult to describe that. But I hope that's a compliment.
No, it is. Yeah, that's what I aim for.
Okay.
I've never seen it's so authentic. What you do, and as I think I've written on some of your posts, they want. I could write a poem for each one. It's like a poem through images.
Well, hopefully that's what I like. That's what I do like. I want people to talk about my pictures, to talk about what they're seeing or, you know, what they think they're seeing. Because obviously, well, but a lot of the time, people don't see it for what it actually was. You know, there's always something that gets thrown in, and people have opinions and.
Well, some of the stuff I've seen. What you said there is dead right, because I look at some of the photos I've seen. You do think, I wonder what was going on there, because you don't. Some of them are quite close up, and so you don't get the whole picture, for want of a better phrase. And see, you know we've looked now, don't you? Not just making it up. So and so I think. What I liked about that was it was like, oh, I wonder what was going on there. So you sort of put your own interpretation onto something. Yeah. Instead of having everything shoved at you, which...
Yeah, you open up thinking to like different... don't start judging in a way, because look, so many things, there's so many narratives in the shots.
Yeah, that's I love nothing more than the conversation breaking out underneath them. That's got nothing to do with like me anymore, you know, and it's just people chatting away about a photograph. I love that. Yeah.
When did you realise? Because we're all involved in performing. You know, I think you're performing when you're doing what you're doing. I know it might seem a such strange question. When did you realise you were good at what you were doing? Because it's like with what.
Do you know what? I really struggle with that. I do really.
Do you?
You know? Yeah, I do. Yeah, because I see loads of other photographers, and I look at, and you always see people who are better, don't you? Yeah. And talk about your pictures and things like that. I don't know how to take it, and you think, oh, they're great, them pictures. And then sometimes, you know, you took a great picture, you take a picture, you think, yeah, nice one, you know. But some people just don't get it, do they? Street photography, some people just don't get it. My wife thinks I'm just nosy.
Poetry. People don't get it.
Yeah, ambiguous. People, I'm a bit Marmite. People love me and hate me.
Yeah.
But hey, you're making people talk, aren't you?
Yeah. My wife loves it, but she thinks I'm nosy. You know, and intrusive.
All artists are nosy.
Yeah.
But I don't think you are. I think you're just making everyone see a different perception of things.
Yeah, I am nosy though.
I was being polite there, Mick.
I am really nosy. If I see something, I just have to know what's going on.
So when did it become, rather than like you said, you always had a camera with you. So when did it go from being, well, I've always got a camera to me, to actually this is something that I do for a living?
Well, I don't do it for a living.
Yeah.
I do it mostly to get in places for nothing.
Okay, I like that. I like a bit of honesty.
I love a bit of blagging myself.
Yeah.
Is that like we did it here today?
Yeah. Now we're locked in.
Yeah.
Well, I was doing the photography for Bad Camera and filming and everything, and there was a girl, Sherry Denson, with us as well, and she's a great photographer. And I asked her, I said, how would you get to do these things? And she said, just write to management and what have you, you know. So then if I saw something I wanted to do, I wrote to them. And be honest, I'd say 90% of them don't even answer you. You know, they don't, and it's so frustrating. But I've had some really nice touches that I've been over the moon with. You know, I did two tours with the Mac lads.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did, yeah. Absolutely buzzing with that.
Where are they from?
From Macclesfield.
No, they're not, okay.
Oh, God, yeah, fuck off. Yeah, I did, you know, I used to listen to them all the time as a kid and being from Mac, you know, and I just wrote to manager and did 2 tours with them.
Did you?
Yeah, got absolutely everywhere. Had a great time.
Now, when I first met you, I'd seen a picture you'd done of Mike Gary. Obviously, I know him because he's a brilliant poet, and you had it on your portfolio. Now, you've taken a few of artists like that, haven't you?
Yeah.
And you've had great feedback from them. So what have you done? Just been to a gig, took one, and they've liked it? Because there was one particular one I remember. Did it get in the MEN or?
Oh, that was a great picture. That I know the one you mean. That was a great picture. I wasn't the photographer that day. But I'd got in the building and Mike Gary was rehearsing the St Anthony song with some of New Order and some of the Charlatans in Macclesfield, and I went along and the photographer was there and he'd got them all lined up for a shot and then went to get another lens, so I just jumped up on his seat and
like you do.
took his shot. They started playing around waiting for him. And it did really well, yeah.
I do that at weddings.
Yeah.
No, because no one photographers are at weddings. Yeah. So when they always do that, but I'm always behind them because I entertain it.
Well, that's what I was. I was behind him, and he was on like a little block, and then he got off and went, and they got a bit restless and started joking about. So yeah, and that was how I met Mike Gary, and then we got Mike Gary booked in for some shows a few months ago for Calico.
Yeah, so the Calico is a group of addiction. It's a group of
Calico does lots and lots of things. What they do at Phoenix Mill was they got Mike Gary for 5 shows, I think it was, to go around some of their places around the northwest and give workshops to those that wouldn't normally get to workshops, you know.
Yeah,
awesome.
Absolutely.
It was, yeah. Kennings, I learned the word kennings.
No, you said something very, very powerful before, and you said there was a time in your life when you used drugs, became a drug addict, but afterwards, at a certain time, you picked up a camera. So would you say it helped to heal you and come out of that?
Do you know, as soon as I stopped taking drugs, I changed anyway. You know, I was bored of it, fed up of it. It was the medication I couldn't get off, really.
Right.
You know, I'd stopped with the street drugs many years. It was just the stuff off the doctor, letting go of it. I think just once the fact that I let go of it was enough, you know. But I started doing little videos for YouTube when I was rattling at home, and they did all right. And then I got asked by a drug service to make one for them.
Fantastic.
And got put in contact with Paul, and he'd done all the videos for the Verve and what have you, and he was making little videos. Paul Hansen. He's the creative director at Bad Camera.
At Bad Camera, he's a lovely, lovely man. That's amazing. Yeah, he's brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
And I've just been doing stuff with him ever since.
Give your head a wobble. You're listening to the Word on Our Street podcast.
I've come across so many people through addiction that have used art as a healing vehicle. So it naturally is healing.
I'm going to ask you a question. So when, obviously you've been through the times that you have, and you've mentioned drugs, and you asked me very quickly that I've never done drugs, but I've met lots of people. I've met lots of people who've been through that, who just have a different, because of what they've been through, have such an outlook, and it's an outlook that you've not, if you've never done anything like that, I don't think there's certain routes you wouldn't go. So do you think that those past experiences experience your approach now and what you try and get? Can you see things that probably the normal someone who's not got the eye for it?
Well, I think I've always been a people watcher. I've always loved being a people watcher, and I can sit in somewhere and just watch what's going on. You know, that's what I like doing. I do. I like to follow people, and obviously my past has made me sort of see things that you recognise, you know, and you'll recognise, or you'll empathise with a certain scene or that you're seeing in front of you, or something's going on, or you can see that something's going to occur because you know, and so I
get
just
that.
try and follow up that. See, if I see something about to occur, you know.
Are we going to be able to put some of these photos on our blog?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. They're fantastic. My only problem is which ones. Thousands, and they're brilliant.
And then we'll put links through to your site then as well, so people can see all your work.
Nice.
Which will be, I think that's because it's sometimes quite hard to describe. It's like if we interview a musician, we could play their record at the end of the podcast, can't we? And it's like if we talk about. We're talking to an actress yesterday, so we can sort of point people towards the film she's in.
Yeah, it's just the stuff you pass in the street. I think my photography is mostly the stuff what everyone else just passes. You know.
Yeah, the 9 to 5 of life, the people you see all at the same time, but you capture it.
I try and get them other bits, you know.
Yeah, which you can see, and I imagine your experiences, like Carl just said, help you pick up on them.
Yeah.
But to me, you make it obvious and easier for other people to see different parts in it.
Yeah, but I've built some great relationships with people out here over 4 years, you know.
Have you really?
Yeah, really, yeah.
So what do you do? Just go up to them and...
No, God, no. There was
No.
well, for the majority of people, the camera's already in my hand. I'll just as I'm just in front of them, I'll lift it up and they can see it. It's not like it's hidden, and just do it, you know.
Yeah.
And people react in the way they react. But some people are dead. I've been pinned up against lampposts outside.
Have you?
Just outside there, I've been pinned up. I've been football fans. I've been saved by the police outside there on horseback. I've been chased, and you know. But there's been groups of lads that every time I walk past, I just let them see me camera and let them, and then. They were one of the groups of lads that had me pinned against the lamppost, but I had them doing group shots for me, you know, 2 minutes later. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you're a people person and like you're put into a certain situation, because I have people saying I don't like magic, right? And then 10 minutes later they're the ones
they're laughing, they're all how'd you do that?
because they've never seen something done well.
Yeah.
And if you've got a way of breaking that barrier down. You've that's what you're trying to do, isn't it? Really,
definitely, yeah. Most of the time, you can see, you know. I mean, I've had some angry people, but not many.
Have you?
Yeah.
Are people in Manchester angry? I don't know.
Some very angry people out there. Very angry
Manchester,
people.
isn't it?
I love the way we both point.
Swedish football fans was angry. They was angry people.
Were they?
Yeah.
But they just got beat.
Before the match, and I just thought, I'll go and get some crowd shots. You know, they're all in Piccadilly.
Yeah.
And it was all right, like on the peripheral. But then when I got in the middle, next to the fountain, they just gripped me straight away. A certain group of them just gripped me, and I had to do a runner then. And they come running after me.
Yeah, but I get that. I was in Manchester when...
it was the horses saved my ass.
Was it?
That day.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I remember when...
an image of that.
I did. I got one of them like that. You know.
Did you?
Yeah, that was why they run after me the last time.
No.
And so it's like you say, if you see that coming, if you know things, if you've got the vibes of that, I suppose that's... Because we've all got cameras now,
I was lucky that day.
What do you think about the advent of everyone's got a camera with them all the time?
They're great. You know, I know some people who take great photographs on phones. My mate Andy takes great photographs on phones, you know. Hopefully he's coming on a walk with us soon to take some people out, give them an introduction to photography, just around town, you know.
That's what you've been doing as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it mainly with who the people that you take on the walks?
Well, the people who attend the Ark, you know.
Usually recovering or prisoners.
People in recovery or,
What a great way to recover. And you walk them through Manchester, just taking shots of the buildings, people, or
whatever they want, whatever interests them, you know. Just get them looking at something different, in a different way, maybe have a bit of a conversation about it.
He's nicking our phrase, that's what we say. We want people to look at things in a different way.
Yeah.
We want people to try things they wouldn't normally try.
Yeah.
So if someone was interested in photography, what advice would you give them?
Just do it.
Love that.
Just have a go.
Yeah,
Do you know what, I sort of knew you were going to say that.
Well, that's all you can do.
It's sort of
really,
the
isn't it?
best advice, isn't it? Just go and do it.
Yeah.
And do you need a posh camera?
No,
You don't, do you?
No.
You've got a posh camera though.
That's a posh camera. I'm very fortunate in that aspect.
I'm looking at his big lens at the moment.
Yeah.
Oh no, what you're laughing at? Oh, I'm rubbish at pictures. Taking them, absolutely, totally rubbish. Even on holiday, enough to use my phone. My husband's like, yeah, Jenny, move, I'll do it. So, is there like a small tip you could give a total amateur like me?
Do you know, just practice. Do you know, when I first got hold of that, my dog wouldn't look at me anymore at home.
What do you mean?
Would not look at me because I took that many photographs
Of the dog.
you know.
I love it.
But then my daughter's dog was a proper like camera whore. It'd just sit there, just like pouting and everything. But I used to take photographs of it, anything trying to practice.
And what about lighting? People always say, oh, the lighting's got to be right. Is that true?
Well, lighting is what it's all about, isn't it? The light, taking a photograph.
Supposedly.
I'm always learning. I can't really. I wish I could understand them things better. You know.
I read a book once.
Yeah, I've read.
That's just a general comment. I just read a book once. No, on photography. It got to f-stop, and I was like, I don't know what that means now.
I mean, I understand
all the
it,
settings and everything.
light and things like that. I'm a photographer. You know, you've got people who are just artists on a camera, haven't you?
Well, yeah. What I love about yours is, and why I've asked you to do some pictures for us and for me, is I can't. You probably have seen on Facebook some posy pictures, but I'd struggle because I've had body dysmorphia in the past. It is a joke, but it was a real thing. But you take pictures in such a way, people aren't posing at the camera. They just, and they're really, really powerful shots.
Yeah, but you just said something there, and this is what I'm learning. The people we're interviewing,
yes.
we're meeting really modest people, aren't we?
Yeah.
You've just said these photographers, and then some people are real artists. I look at what you do, and I go, that's an artist. It's not just a photographer.
Yeah.
And that's why I want everyone to have a look at your stuff, because some of it jumps out of the screen. When I mean, I've only seen them on the computer really, but it jumps off the screen at you, screaming like this was a. You can tell what it's like it's telling a story. Do you know what I mean? So, to me, I think you should think. That's how you should think of yourself.
That copper who was staring at me, that was literally just outside here, and they were furious at me, both of them. I ended up going back.
Did not like having the photos say?
No, she went mental at me, and then he did. And I went back actually a week later and apologised to him.
Did you?
Yeah, because I went to get a shot, and they both told me not to. And as I walked past him, I turned and got that shot. And I just thought, it was a bit cheeky, that, you know. So I did go back and apologise for getting in his space.
And did they laugh?
Yeah, he loved it. Other people had seen it by then, and they were, and pointed it out to him. So yeah, that time had given it enough time for him to see the humour.
What's been your favourite picture that you've taken, or favourite story or experience with it? Because I know you've got thousands.
My favourite photograph, probably Mutley out the Mat Lads, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
And where do they come from?
Well, funny enough, it was taken at Blackpool Winter Gardens, and
was it?
They were playing Rebellion. It was the first gig as the Mat Lads since they'd reformed after growing up a bit and being banned from everywhere. And they played Winter Gardens, and Bammy got me a pass, and I got like a classic Mutley, full face, crowd behind him. But another one that they used in the advertising, I've had a few I really like, actually.
People have tried to steal your work, haven't they? You've had a bit of trouble with people using your images.
Oh, yeah, I have had images used all over.
Have you?
Which
is there a lot of that goes on in your game?
Oh, without a doubt, actually, yeah.
You say that about
your
ideas in poetry.
Well, TV writing as well. Jeez.
Yeah, there is. I should mark them, you know. Yeah. But I see them they're just photographs, you know.
No, they're not.
You would put a watermark on something like, do you know what I mean? But because they're just photographs, I just think, oh, it's a bit pretentious. Who the fuck do you think you are? You know. But some of them I have done. And then I've seen some that have travelled around, and I just think.
Well, on that note.
It's
been absolutely lovely just finding out a little bit of background on how the magic happens, really. And that's been cool, hasn't it?
It's been really cool, as I knew it would be, because I know you already. Where will people find your images other than Facebook?
Do you know what? I post them just most. I really should have a place where I gather stuff, which is, you know, what I'm going to do in there. But you can look on Instagram. You can see on Instagram, MickSteff64. Or just look at my Facebook page, really. Just Michael Steff. I usually put them on there.
I'll share this on the blog.
And we'll put links on and everything, so more people can have a look at what you do and everything.
Yeah, nice one.
So our listener can have a look.
Yeah, definitely. And now the biggest challenge is, can you make me and Carl look all right in a picture?
Yeah, going to get some photographs.
Thanks so much, right? I really appreciate it.
Cheers.
Give your head a wobble. You're listening to the Word on Our Street podcast.
How amazing was that?
It was amazing. It was really, really good. And I'm sure the listeners will be... That's the most raw interview we've done, isn't it?
I think so, because I think he dealt with some issues that he probably doesn't talk about on a daily basis to people.
Yeah, and if you look at his work, he, you know, is authentic. I just keep saying it.
And how do you look at his work? It's dead easy. You go onto our blog.
Yeah, you go onto our blog.
And then there's a link on there to Mick Steff's...
to his portfolio of pictures. He's on Facebook as well. I'll put this all on.
Yeah, but the link through to his Flickr account, I think he's got Flickr.
Yeah, Flickr.
And some of the stuff on there is great, especially some of the music stuff. I mean, he talks about the Mac Lads, and there's a lot of the Mac Lads pictures on there and things like that.
Yeah, I'm dead lucky because he's doing the front cover of my book.
Is he really?
Yeah, and another cover at the back. Yes.
So he's doing the front cover and the back
cover. And the back cover.
So you he's doing the front cover and he's doing
I know, because I was thinking
well.
we've discussed lots of different ideas.
What about the spine?
Hey, you might do a spine cover.
Brilliant. Is that a thing?
I'm spineless. Should we invent it? Word on our street.
Spine cover.
Yeah,
there you go. Do you
we're
think
both a bit spineless, aren't we?
I hope not. Don't say that. I think you called me that another episode because I said I was reading a Kindle and that doesn't have a spine. Yeah, and then you must like that word. No need.
Maybe it's because I used to work in the spinal department at Salford Royal Hospital. Possibly.
Okay, fair enough. But do you know what? If people can imagine, we did that interview and then we went out on the streets, as we said before, and we met some amazing characters.
Oh, yeah.
And then if you look, you will see that we've changed a lot of the imagery on our social media stuff. So there's lots of pictures of me and you just laughing at each other, or me leaning on your shoulder. And I think it just makes the whole thing look a lot more professional. It shows what strong images can do. And to have somebody who is at the top of the game take them
exactly,
for you.
Yeah.
You've got the story.
I mean,
it's great to have a backstory on something, isn't it?
He's a true artist. You know, you say that. You've said it to him in the interview there. You said, you're not, look at yourself as an artist, because he doesn't know how good he is as well, and that's what kept him so humble.
He's quite, and a lot of people are quite humble and modest that we're talking to.
Yeah, and it's lovely. It is lovely.
It's funny they don't say that about us.
No,
they don't say that at all.
I don't want to know what they say about us.
So have you watched any films this week?
I have actually. I've not been skiving fully.
Okay.
I can't be on the radio and the paper and watch everything.
Well, someone said to me I should watch a film with Charlize Theron in it. So we did say, and it's on Netflix, so we got that. So
yeah.
I thought, it's called The Old Guard.
Yeah, my husband loved it too. I wonder why.
It had nothing to do with the fact it's got Charlize Theron in it.
She's so stunning. She's stunning. I really I had a bit of a marriage with this one. I fell out of it, then fell back in love with it a lot throughout till the end, but stuck with it.
Okay, because I think I'd watched it first, and I told you that I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So you were looking for every reason not to enjoy it.
No.
Do you know, you did with my favourite Eurovision?
That, gee, we've even had a few people agree with me.
Yeah, but I also had someone on one of the things say it was that bad, it was good, and I think that's where I was coming from.
Yeah, I think that it was that bad that we all had to have a bottle of wine, and we've done this one anyway. It winds me up.
Does it?
It winds me up.
Anyway,
The Old Guard didn't wind me up.
the old guard. If you liked, see, one of my favourite films in the 80s, 90s was Highlander.
Oh, yeah. Highlander.
And that was all about immortals, wasn't it? And
yes.
There can be only one.
Yeah.
That was my deep movie voice. There can be only one. And so I liked it because I'm not giving. It's not a spoiler. It's about immortals, right?
Well, that's the crux of the gist of it.
But what I quite liked is it didn't jump straight into that, and I quite like the way that all the way through it, she got asked about 1 million times, sort of, how old are you? Mm-hmm. And they never told you.
No, they didn't.
And I think that might come into if there's any more films, so it leaves it open for how far back you can go.
So, as I said, I fell in love with it, then fell out of love, but stuck with it. The ending was clever.
The ending's clever. It does leave it open, as you'd expect, for another film.
When you told me to watch it, what you said it was about, I thought, oh, God.
Is it not your kind of film?
Not really, but it was a lot better than you described it. No, not your description, but from what I thought, how I thought I'd enjoy it.
Beep, beep. Are you backtracking?
I'm backtracking, yeah. Just digging a hole, filling my hole up that I've dug. I'm just a little bit... Again, is this because you're a bloke and I'm a woman? Because it's far-fetched, obviously that's not going to happen. I'm maybe a little bit too obsessed with being authentic or factual. Maybe because of the work that I do.
This is totally take your brain out.
Yeah.
Just stare at the screen.
I don't have a brain to take out, maybe.
And let it wash over you.
Yeah.
And, I mean, again, I'm going to go on the eyebrows. I don't want to say too much about it because it's got quite a good plot, I think. So I don't want to give any of it away. I'll tell you what I did like.
Go on.
I'll give one bit that I liked.
The stunning protagonist.
No, well, actually, it was when she didn't look that great. When they showed you the flashback to the when they were seen as witches.
Oh, I did, and in the battles as well. Wow, what year was that, and where was it? It was that was good.
But the persecution of the witches thing was absolutely
Jeez,
good.
It was sick for one of them.
Well, that bit I don't want to.
No,
you can't give
it away.
It away.
We can't.
It's a spoiler.
That's a spoiler.
Don't give it away. We wouldn't do that. That's not very word on our street, is it?
It's not, is it?
We don't do spoilers.
That's something that would happen in a cul-de-sac, not a street.
Anyway, I'm going to give it 4. I'm going to give it 4 eyebrows. It's not highbrow. It's 4 eyebrows.
No, I'll give it 3.5. I think you enjoyed it just that little bit more.
Can you have half an eyebrow?
Yeah, you can. Making it up as we go along.
I suppose you can. Because I've seen people with half an eyebrow after they've had a beer and they're asleep and people shave half an eyebrow off.
I'd rather a half than those really big black ones that just meet across the forehead. What's going on?
What, like a monobrow?
Like a monobrow.
We don't do monobrow.
Hell no. And girls, beautiful girls that were blonde and ginger and they've got black eyebrows.
How does that happen?
I don't know. 3.5 for me.
3.5. I'm going to give it 4.
Yeah.
Recommended.
Definitely recommended.
If you've got Netflix, it's an absolute no-brainer.
Yeah.
Get it watched. So, anyway, we're coming to the end of the show.
Oh no.
It's been a good one.
It has been a good one.
We've talked about loads of stuff.
Party in the pod. That's what I like to call it.
We are having a party in the pod.
We are.
I think that. I mean, what I've loved about the last few weeks is we have generated quite a lot of sort of buzz, which I didn't know if we were going to do that. So a lot of the feedback that we've had, I mean, I know people are not going to come and give you negative feedback really, but people have said some really nice things. And
they have, and I'm aware.
Especially about me. And it's...
Oh, God. All these secret messages I've got about you. No, they have said, you've had a good one. Apparently your voice is very calming.
Is it?
And you've been compared to someone.
Yeah, but he's dead.
Doesn't matter.
No, I saw that.
Go on.
Someone said it's very calming, and it reminds me of when I used to listen to Terry Wogan.
That's a real compliment, though.
And it's a compliment, but and it's someone who I've worked with, so I know them quite.
But you
well.
are expert. You've compared for many years. You've run events. You.
Yeah, but
I'd actually, believe it or not, we do disagree, but I'd agree with that.
Thanks. And
it's the only compliment you're getting.
I said I will take the compliment. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
But I think we've got a long way to go. I wish he had his money. That's all I would say.
Well, I do, yeah.
So before we go into, as we've promised everyone, we're going to play some original music. And I got a cracker this week.
I love this. I mean, poetry it's poetry to me.
Is it?
Oh, absolutely.
And
It's such poignant
we've got
lyrics.
rather than just put it on, we've got a little bit of a backstory as well.
Yeah.
But do you know what? It wouldn't be Word on Our Street if we didn't let you do a poem.
A poem. I might as well, because
So-
that's what I do. Because there's just so much poetry at work about at the minute.
You're twitching because you've got nowhere to perform.
Oh my! I've been doing online performing.
Yeah.
But I am twitching a bit. Yeah.
So, as I always say, are you going to do another one of your poems?
I'm gonna do one of my poems. I may as well. I've only done one up to now.
I know.
So this is a fairly new one, and it's just about communication, really. It's called Talk to Me. Talk to me through eyes, not screen. Don't miss life to tag I scream. Don't scoop me your cold facade to then online misplace your guard. Don't talk the talk if talk's on text. Don't walk on by if swiping next. Talk to me to my face, authenticate small talk. Talk to me with engaged tone, no hunchback clenching mobile phone, screen time obsessional stalker, yet muted mutt dog daytime walker. Don't eye me up to then ignore an adult conversation. Don't deal a hand of demure to tweet a meaningless midnight declaration. Talk to me like it's innate in the human race, like our mental lexicon hasn't been replaced. Talk to me meaningless memoirs outside our local pub, regurgitated, outdated gossip just like gossip should. Talk to me by the side of Bridgewater Canal, amongst the orange tide, let's lock eyes and do what the people know how. Talk to me.
Oh, you want me to talk to you?
I want you to talk to me, yeah. I like that gap. That's what I do, because I've got no mates.
See what I did then?
I saw what you did.
Strategic pause.
The power of a pause. I do sit at the Bridgewater Canal and just read that out, because I've got no mates.
Really? It's...
No, it's
Please
just
talk
like...
to me, somebody.
It's true, like, talk to one another. Talk to each other, don't get off your texts.
I know. Anyway, no, believe it or not, and in a couple of weeks we've got a comedy poet coming on.
We have Tony Kinsella.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah, that was. We've already done the interview for that.
Yeah, you know what's funny though? When we interview, I'd never met him face to face, just via Zoom and everything. So
Yeah. Was he taller? Because they're quite small on a screen, aren't they?
yeah, he was taller than on a screen. Yeah. Saying that, I'm like a borrower, so everyone's bigger than me, aren't they?
Anyway, our play out song. Normally we just say, and we've got somebody to play out, but this is quite poignant.
It really is.
And so when we were on Salford City Radio, I used to try and play some music that wasn't just by well-known people.
Yeah, so did I.
And just every now and then, we've both got friends who are into music. And one of my best friends, his son, goes out gigging with his guitar. And I heard him sing a song all about somebody from what it's like growing up in Manchester. And I went, I've got to have that. So I want to have that song. And every time I ask him for a song, he sends me a different one. So for some reason, and I don't know why you're doing this, Brian, he's not happy with the recording of this song that I've originally heard.
Right.
So and so when we for the radio, he sent me one that was with a band, and I did this, and then he kept talking to me about a song called Jimmy. He says that's the one everybody likes. It's about my granddad.
Oh, I love it.
And I went, oh, okay, because I know his dad. I know a little bit of the backstory already, and it's an interesting thing because his granddad was a fighter pilot in the war, and so he wrote a song, and recently his granddad passed away, and he wrote a song about his granddad, and what I said to you, this is where it got a little bit when I listened to it,
Yeah.
I found it quite emotional. And I'm not sure if other people will find it as emotional as I did, because I know the family.
Probably not, but with the backstory, it just brings the lyrics even more alive because it's just so real. I listened before you told me the backstory,
Yeah.
and I loved it. Is that because I'm a poet and that's what I do? I don't know, but it is quite unique. This.
Yeah, and it's just him and his guitar singing about his granddad. But again, no spoilers. But one of the sort of lines in it, I'm paraphrasing, is about when they fly over to fly over Germany, and they all look at each other, all the pilots, and they go, "You know, some of us are not coming back, don't you?" And because there might be a bullet with your name on it. So I am paraphrasing because I don't want to give away the way it's structured. Now, what that made me think, which was really bizarre, was I know the family. So if he'd got shot down then there's no Jamie, who's one of my best mates, and then there's no Brian, and then worse than that, there's no song.
There'd be no song. Well, it's true. That's very true. But do you know what it's just made me think of on the spot now? This might sound a little bit dramatic, but with Corona and everything, it's a bit like we're at war, I've felt.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, you know, nurses and the frontline staff and everything have kind of, not quite as brutally, but gone to work knowing, possibly, and we've lost a lot. So I think it's very valid and apt to play it.
We should probably give a little bit of a warning. There's a couple of swear words in it.
Bloody hell.
But do you know what? I think it's worth it.
I do.
Because we don't change the fact we're a clean lyric podcast. But I think if words are used in a certain way, and I don't think there's a problem with it. So this is Brian Johnson and Jimmy.
Take it away.
Heralding the start of a legend that is just as powerful today as it was during those dark years of World War II. Fuck me.
Oh, Jimmy was a poor boy, our king's son. Worked in the factory as his father had done. Left school at 14, scars on his face. Been beaten by the older boys and put in his place. And he sang, oh, ah, ah, oh, ah, oh, ah, ah, oh. So in 1940, at just 18, he was called upon by the king. He said, oh, Jimmy, get in this plane, take to the sky, make sure every one of those bastards die. And he sang, oh, ah, ah, oh, what Jimmy did. He got into that plane, took a look at the Germans and thought, oh man, this ain't some game. Went on the radio and said, boys, I'm sorry to say, I don't think we're going home because the bullets are calling our names. And they all sang, oh, until 1943, went home and had my dad, and then my dad had me. Seems with every generation we are getting soft. If you asked me to go to war, I'd tell you to fuck off, and then I'd sing, ah, oh.
Give your head a wobble. You're listening to the Word on Our Street podcast.